YouTube friends, what's going on? And David Lee back with a brand new video. Today we're talking about how to clean up your audio and how to get your audio right from the get-go. For anyone who films a lot of interviews for documentaries, say for corporate videos, maybe it's a testimonial for a brand or for a business, being able to clearly hear the person speaking.
I don't really see a lot of yoga classes like this out there, so I think it's something really fun, unique. It's very group and dynamic and stuff like that. So
it's one of the most important things you need to get right from the very beginning. Regardless of the equipment you're using, say that's a lavalier, a shotgun mic, or a boom mic, as long as you know how to get the most amount of clean audio you can from the very beginning of the recording, then you'll have an easier time in post-production to clean up like hums, buzzes, miscellaneous noise, so that way the audio, the dialogue, the vocals come out as clear as possible. And I know the setting for this YouTube video is very different than what I usually do because I usually film in the daytime, but honestly the last 3 weeks have been so busy with work what time is it right now? It's like 5 in the morning right now. You can see that. It's 5 in the morning right now. I woke up at 3:30 just so I can get some work done. Because I need to get more consistent with my YouTube channel, my YouTube videos. And one thing I've been wanting to do for a while is to come up with a video on how to record better audio and how to clean the audio in post-production. All right, enough babbling from my end. Let's get into the details as far as how to get cleaner audio. Number one, when you're setting up your interview or your interviewee, ensure that the microphone is as close to your interviewee as possible. And having the microphone closer to their mouth is gonna give you a much stronger and a much cleaner vocal. That being said, you're gonna have to play around with what lens you use and also your composition, so that way the microphone isn't showing up. And regardless of what interview setting I'm in, if that's outside or indoors, I always use a boom microphone, this Rode NTG2. This thing here, and it's probably not, I don't know, I'll have to change this thing. Okay. And you know, the NTG2 is pretty old. There's the NTG4, NTG3, but the NTG2 still does a very good job for the price. I do use lavaliers as well too, into like a Zoom H4N, as I prefer a hardwired connection rather than a wireless connection. But for the most part, if I can use a boom mic overhead, then I will. And all that goes into the Zoom H4N. It's a little bit old, you know, they have the H6 and the H5, but the H4N still does a very, very good job, and it's not as big as the H6. The only thing is the battery life kind of sucks on these things, so you need to have strong rechargeable batteries in order for them to last the duration of your interview. Number two is how to actually reduce the noise in post-production. Before you go into post-production, always record at least 30 to 60 seconds of clean audio. So what that means is before you even start asking your interviewee questions, just record silence, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, depending on how loud the ambience or the environment is. Something for my YouTube channel that I do is 30 seconds. I typically only have my computer on, but I turn off like humidifier, fans, anything that I can, so that way I have an easier time in post to clean up the noise. But if you're in an environment, say for this interview that I filmed for the artist series, we were outside and there was a huge like waterfall thing in the background, and I wanted to shoot in that specific spot because of the composition, because I had better control of the lighting. However, I knew that I would have to sacrifice a little bit of the audio. For the interview, I did use the same setup, Rode NTG2 into the Zoom H4N, but I recorded about 1.5 minutes of just, you know, clean audio as best I could. Okay, so now that you have your clean audio source, how do you clean up the actual audio? Let's jump into Adobe Audition and I'll show you exactly what I do. Cool. All right, so we are in my computer right now, and one thing I will advise you to do, or I would invite you to do, is once you have your actual recording and you rename the file name, is make a copy of it. That way, in case something gets messed up, whether unintentional or intentional, at least you have the original one to go back to. So this is a clip from a client job that I did recently. We're filming outside. It was pretty much like noise, gardeners and wind and random things like that. it did have a wind cover for my Rode NTG2, so that helped out. But I kind of did the reverse here, where I just recorded silent audio, like a couple of minutes of it actually, at the end of the talking head portion. I think because we were just really rushed with time, and I was just like, all right, get everything set up and just hit record. So as you can see here, I have about what is this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have like way much longer than I need for a noise sample. So first thing I'm gonna do, since this was on a single XLR, really easy, just go ahead and go to channel mixer, fill right with left. You can find that from the drop down menu, hit apply. And that way I have 2 channels, left and right, going on now. Cool. And then from here, let's go ahead and just get a noise sample. So it doesn't need to be the whole duration. You know, if you have it, then great. If not, even if it's like 30 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever it is. So I'm gonna go about let's just go for a middle, about 1 minute here. And then from here, to capture the noise sample, Shift P. And then you want to select the entire wave clip, and then Command Shift P or Control Shift P to bring up the noise reduction panel here. So typically when this comes up, what I do is if I know there's a ton of noise, I'll immediately go to 50% noise reduction, and then I'll switch to about 10 decibels of noise reduction. As far as the settings goes, the FFT size, I always choose 4096. Depending on your microphone, this won't work because the sample is just too much for Audition to be able to take in, given the type of microphone that was being used and the type of recording medium that was being used. So like if that's your in-camera audio or a external recorder, you might have to go down to like 2048 or 512. So I'll switch it back to 4096. So once that's done, you'll need to finesse the noise reduction just a tiny bit. So basically what it is this green bar here, whatever you want to call it. Again, I'm not like a professional audio engineer. I just know what works for me during this moment. So for what works for me is basically if I can get the green bars up in line with the yellow to kind of match the noise being reduced with the original recording, then that's what I'm trying to do. If you go too high, you might find it just sounding really like reverby and really bouncy. So you kind of just have to finesse it. What I do is I'll start with something that feels right, and then I'll go through the recording, and then as that's going on, then I'll start to tweak it to to something reasonable to where I like it. The recording was okay. The levels as far, we're going from about negative 11 dBs to about -6, -5 dBs, which is what you want. Cool. And then from there, what I do is, depending on where the peaks are in the waveform, I may want to normalize this. So I'll go to Effects, I'll go to Amplitude and Compression, and then normalize process. And I usually start with around -6 dBs. Normalize all channels equally. Apply that. You can see already that it will normalize your waveform automatically, given the parameters that you set. From here, what I'll do is I'll capture another noise print of the same amount. So Control Shift P, select the entire waveform, Command Shift P. From here, I don't need too much noise reduction. I'll typically bring this down to like 10%, and then reduce by about 2 decibels. Play back the clip first, and I basically just do that over and over again to see exactly, or to hear exactly what's being changed, and then make sure that's on. And I'll start to finesse it again, just taking the green levels back up to about the original file or the original reduction, finesse it, play it back, and that's basically the first part of the noise reduction workflow that I have. After that is where you can start to compress the file and then EQ the file. We do a little bit more finessing with like dynamics processing, just to remaster the audio to make it sound much more much more broad, much more tonal, and less flat. So yeah, that's it.
To begin with, vitamin D is actually not a vitamin at all. It's a hormone, and inadequate levels of this hormone can have a negative major impact on the health of your immune system.
All right, so that does it for me. Hope you guys found this video useful, entertaining, educational, everything that YouTube is about. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video useful. Go out there, start cleaning up your audio, start recording better audio, and I guarantee you the overall production value that you can bring to yourself, to your clients, to anyone you're collaborating with will like tenfold. It's not always about the equipment, it's about how you use the equipment. But later on, as you begin to mature or graduate with your filmmaking journey, your adventure, then yeah, definitely upgrade to better equipment that'll get you exactly like what you want. Like the video if you liked it. Comment down below. Let me know exactly what gear you guys using for your docs, for your films, for your corporates. Be interesting to see exactly what everyone is using. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, just so you're notified of similar content in the future. And remember, friends, every day you have an opportunity to create your experience and write and tell your own story. My name is David Lee. I'll catch you guys in the next video.